Hello, and thank you for joining me on another one of my adventure travel series videos. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dmitry and I'm an American expat living in the Philippines. If you find this video entertaining, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And now sit back, relax, and enjoy as I take you on an exciting adventure of the time-lapse traveler. Hello everyone, and welcome to another walking tour video. Starting out among a long row of street vendors, many of whom were competing for my attention, just outside of the Bureau of Immigration where I just made a visit. This time I wanted to show a mix of the less touristy areas in the historic walled city of Intramuros. Although these are much less glamorous images that you will see here, they also show the heart and soul of this neighborhood, as you will get to see not just the historic landmarks, some of which I will also cover, but also the people who actually work and live here. These private vehicle operators can often be haggled down from a very steep price. And yet, while they definitely do deserve to be compensated for their work, they often try to charge up to double of what you would pay for in a ride in an air-conditioned car. At first I thought that this great map of Intramuros, along with the listed regulations, was at least in part targeted at tourists, since this is a very touristy spot and people from all over the world flock to this area, until I saw that it was almost entirely in Tagalog, and my Tagalog, as much as I've been learning it lately, is still not nearly fluent enough to be able to follow this. Here is one of the many entryways into the old city, which was founded on the mouth of the Pasig River by the Spanish conquistadors after Miguel Lopez de Legazpi conquered this territory from the Muslim leaders in 1571, thereby extending the dominion of the Catholic Church. Throughout the long history of this city, there have been a large number of disasters ranging from earthquakes, fires, floods, and wars, and through all of this, the Filipino people have always held on to their unwavering nature of warmth and compassion. There's a lot of joy in seeing how much of the history and culture has been rebuilt, preserved, and protected. Much of what has been destroyed by the numerous earthquakes, foreign invasions, and other calamities has been painstakingly restored for all to see today. I was thinking of how much the people living here have fought through, and yet despite being colonized by Spain for over a third of a millennia, then living under American rule for most of the first half of the 20th century, then being brutally invaded by Japanese forces, the Philippines not only retained its culture and old traditions, but was also able to grow into a thriving and growing economy of the 21st century. Of course, this has not always been without setbacks and oppressive poverty, and yet, by and large, this doesn't seem to bring down the Filipino spirit, which is evident when looking at the faces of smiling children playing in the streets, as well as the older generations. It is evident that the family unit is the central part of the Filipino life, as the bond between them is as strong as it gets, and is certainly the greatest source of strength. I really have to give credit to the beautiful architecture of some of the buildings here in Intramuros. They really capture the essence of the old world charm and add a beautiful splash of greenery to the environment. The first time that I visited Intramuros was in the summer of 2017, when I took part in a cultural heritage tour of the northern provinces of the Philippines called Discovering Routes, which started here in Metro Manila. This was about a year and a half before moving to live in the Philippines. The tour of this historic walled city was provided by the now legendary guide Carlos Soldran, who has sadly since passed away. While being shown around these streets and some of the more famous spots inside Intramuros, I became instantly fascinated with this place, as it offered all the elements I would ever look for in a city tour. Besides all the famous historic landmarks and cultural icons of the Philippines, there is also the food. The most famous and must-see place to eat here absolutely has to be Barber's restaurant, located in the Old Spanish House, which also includes a museum of historic artifacts. Sadly, this place was not open for tourists at the time of this visit. I had to plead with the guard for some very limited access. However, you can see more of this enchanting place by heading over to a video I shot about a year ago when my mother was visiting me here from New York City. She certainly absolutely loved exploring this whole place to her heart's content. The one great thing about being here during off hours is that there weren't the usual crowds to contend with, as has always been the case each time I came by here. Too bad though, it was at the cost of not being able to explore more for the purpose of this video, but I'm sure this isn't the last time that I'll be here. The section of the restaurant that I previously visited was on the left hand side, so please do check out that video and the link on the top right hand corner of the screen. Right across from the Old Spanish House is the St. Augustine Church. Originally completed in 1607, this is the oldest stone church in the country. It is actually the third church to be built on this spot, as the two previous wooden churches were burned down by fires before this third stone church was erected here. Like most structures that have been around for more than 100 years, this church has been repeatedly partially destroyed by earthquakes throughout its long history. I couldn't enter inside, however, on account there being a wedding service in progress. This is a wonderful mix of Eastern and Western cultures, as can be seen in some of the sculptures adorning the entrance. It has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is a proud historical monument of the country. This is the site of the Academia de Dibujo y Pintura. Established during the Spanish rule by royal decree in 1846, it was incorporated under the School of Arts and Trade in 1889. The art school was then elevated to the rank of an Escuela Superior in 1893, but was dissolved due to lack of funding in 1898 at the onset of the uprising of the Philippines against ongoing Spanish occupation. There is really a great deal of art and culture that exists here in Intramuros, and besides some of the museums that can be found here, there are also shops selling antiques such as this one. Now this probably is the biggest such store around here, so I wanted to share a little taste of what it's like inside. It's really too bad that I didn't know about this place at the time when my mother was visiting here when I took her sightseeing in Intramuros, because this would be a must-see destination for her. One of the things we always enjoyed doing together back in the US was exploring some of the antique shops we would come across, and I could really imagine her wanting to spend many hours here, poring over so many of the trinkets and art pieces you see here. At least I know that she will enjoy this place vicariously through watching this video, and hopefully I can take her here the next time she makes a visit to Manila. Next, I came across the Ilustrado restaurant. Although it doesn't seem to have quite the same central presence as Barber's restaurant in the old Spanish house seen earlier, its apparent connection to the antique store and 31-year heritage makes it seem like an important destination for anyone looking for famously high-quality Filipino and Spanish cuisine in a gorgeous setting, while served by friendly and highly experienced staff. Of course, if a fancy sit-down dinner isn't what you're after, these streets can also offer plenty of options of bodegas and street food choices that can fill your stomach while also being kinder on your wallet. From grilled meats to sweet as well as savory pastries and snacks galore, there is something for everyone that can be found here. One thing that you can always count on, however, is local kids and grown-ups alike with smiling faces that rounds up the exploration through the streets of Intramuros with a cherry on top. The history of this city is a long and eventful one, and now everywhere you look, there's a melding of the old and the new, and there is a reason to hope that this long tradition is going to continue for generations to come. The Filipino people have a long and proud tradition of maintaining their culture, and I'm excited to keep immersing myself into it as I continue to explore this wonderful country and getting to know more amazing people of the Philippines.
So Intramuros is really an amazing area. It's so much history, so much beauty, so many different nooks and crannies, so many hidden little spots to explore over there. You can just keep on coming back again and again, and there will always be something there to surprise you and entice you to come back again still. I'm just hoping that there's going to be an opportunity for me to head back over there sometime with Chris. There are a lot of new places to discover, a lot of new restaurants, and just scenic spots. It's really impossible to explore everything that Intramuros has to offer in any reasonable amount of time. So now back home in BGC, in Taguig. So I'm going to be closing out this video over here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, stay tuned for more videos coming at you from the Time-Lapse Traveler.
Thank you to everyone who has been supporting me and my channel from the beginning, and thank you to all new subscribers. I'm sure you know who you are. A very special thanks to my latest fan, Brian Adam. See you in the next vlog!